What's up, world? So, the other day I tried to tell you folk that I was sick to death of my workbench, that I didn't have I was running my miter saw on top of my table saw, and it was just generally not conducive to good work. So what I've done is I've decided that I'm going to build myself a new workbench. So I took an old pallet that was over there, tore it all down. It was a equipment shipping pallet, so it had big heavy wood on it. I built a nice big base. This is actual, I don't know if it's 2x6 or 2x8. Let's look. So it's actually 2 by 6.5 inch, because that's what was at the bottom of that pallet. That's what built the rib for the sides. So I built a main frame out of that. I notched out the corners. Every corner has a notched in frame piece to help hold it square. That's screwed in. I got a bunch of casters on it. Bunch of casters. Put some uprights right on top of those. Up. Total of 37 inches. So I think that's what my table saw is. Yeah. So my table saw is 37 inches high. I set my table saw inside. I know it's dark, but bear with me. So I set my table saw inside so I wouldn't lose that much height. So I didn't want it to be too tall, because on top of this it would be, 8 inches, 9 inches taller than what it is here. This, just about the perfect height. I built it so it's a tiny little minuscule hair, and you can see my level is on the deck. And what we want to do right here is we want to slide that right up underneath there. That end is flared out from getting wet. Look at that. So I've got that done. Got my table saw set in there. Everything's happy there. I got my miter saw on a hinge thing, so I can fold my miter saw out of the way. And I'm going to build a deck to cover that spot. That's removable. You take the deck out, slide it in on the side, and hinge your saw up or hinge it down so you can rip. I built a slide lock. This will hold the saw up. I'll do another one of these on the opposite side when I've got to build another framework for that right there. I got to build another frame over on this side of my hinge plate here, so that my saw's got 2 sides of heft. I'll set the air compressor in next to it. I got to build a floor for that there. But it's coming together. Let me hinge this saw up and you can see that go. So, yeah, I know I gotta shorten my drop cord here. Gotta shorten my drop cord. But, as you can see, I tried to build this in such a way. I know it's an expandable miter saw, so I can slide that back. I can swivel the saw fully and never be outside of the baseboard. But look here. This is probably my favorite feature of the whole thing. Look at that. Directly off onto the table saw. You got a little bit of a height discrepancy right there. It's just little tiny. I might have to shim my saw up to fix that. Oh my goodness. That cord needs a new end. Probably have to shim my saw up to fix that. But it's not so bad. It ain't so bad. And I think it's just because when I get out there, I don't know. I have to figure that out. But my floor is not level, so it makes it really hard to level everything else. So I just have to go off of measurements of what the base is, because the base was built on a set of sawhorses that I was able to shim and level. I can't shim and level a table saw. It doesn't work out so well. But that's what I'm doing here. I got a lot of work left to do on it. As you can see, it's just a wreck. But whenever I get going, get this thing going, on this side I'm going to build a little sub wall, place to hang my dado stack, my saw blades, that type stuff. I'm going to mount a router table under this side. This side of it, we'll get a router table. On the end, so there'll be where the router table is versus where the saw is. The router table will be directly across from the saw, so it'll be over here on this side, directly across from the saw. It'll hinge down also, or screw down into the conveyor, I don't know, we'll see, or down into the deck. But on this side, see, I got this built so this 2x4 frame sticks out that way. So I'm going to come out with a strip up this, so I have about a 5-inch deep hole here, 5.5. And I'm going to build a cleat wall in here. So we'll build a wall with a whole bunch with French cleats, and then that's where all of my drill bits, router bits, stuff of that nature will go. Do the compressor on one side, and I'm going to do a little shelving unit on the other side, so I've got a place to put my drills, impact, battery chargers, that type of stuff. I'm going to put a power in the table. I'm probably going to run the power down along the lower frame over there. Put a outlet over on each corner, because I won't be using all the tools at the same time. So the most of this stuff, most of this equipment pulls is just 15 amps. The saw pulls a little bit less than 15. My miter saw only pulls 10. So I'll be able to run it off of a regular outlet, and since I won't be doing everything at once, battery chargers don't pull hardly anything. But I'll put light switches on it, so I can turn the battery chargers off if I need to, or I can turn different things off. So that's the current plan. That's where we're at. This is Workbench Part 1.